One thing that I love to do is to get outdoors. I enjoy going through the woods, doing a hike. But one thing that I've realized is thousands of people get lost every year in the national forest. So it's very important to make sure that you stay on course wherever you are. But it's so easy to be able to get turned around. And so one of the things we're going to talk about today is an acronym that may help you if you ever find yourself lost in the woods, and that is STOP. Now, first thing I'm going to say before I get into the acronyms is when you realize that you are in a situation where you could be lost, you tend to panic. You tend to get frantic. You may start running in a certain area. You're like looking around trying to figure things out. The S in STOP means to sit. It means just to stop and sit and just stay where you are. One problem is you can easily get even deeper into the woods, get into more of even a worse situation than you're already in if you continue to move. That area that you're in is really important to just stay where you are unless there's some kind of danger. This can allow rescuers to find you if you stay in one area. A lot of people want to get self-rescued, and that's one of the things I'm guilty of, is I want to figure it out and find my way out. But if people are really looking for you, it's important to stay in a general area. Then we come to T, and T means to think. Just stop, think, understand where you've come from, understand where you're going or what your plan was. Think back about as you were traveling along your trail, what could have been one of the issues that got you sidetracked. For me, I like to look around, I like to enjoy nature, and I'm not always necessarily focused. And so this really helps to be able to stop, think about your situation. Also, in that panic, you need to say, you know what, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to make it. Especially if it's getting toward dark. That can be a real scare for a lot of people. And then O stands for observe. And that means you're looking around, seeing the general area that you're in. You may be completely surrounded with woods. You could be near a bluff where you can look off and see where things are. But stop and listen. Listen for roads. Listen for a river. Maybe listen for people that may be on the trail as well, or maybe just over from you. You can hear them talking. A lot of times people like to take dogs on the trail. Maybe you can hear a dog barking. But stopping and observing and gathering in the noises that are around you. P stands for plan. If you're sitting there in the situation, you've stopped, you're sitting, you're thinking, you're observing, and now it's time to plan. First, I take an inventory of the things that I have. I may have a survival pack, a day pack. I may not. I may have just impromptu got out of the car, left, went on a hike, and thankfully I do carry an EDC, which I have my knife, a flashlight, my concealed carry if the area permits, the things that I might need, for basic survival. But really the things that you could need, like food, water, shelter, I may not have those things. Assessing the situation, thinking it through, seeing what assets I do have, and weighing that out. Now, once you've gone through the STOP exercises, there are some tips that I want to give you just to kind of think about. Number one is if you're with other people, if you're in a group or just another person, stay together. Don't separate, don't split up. Your chances of survival are a lot greater together than they are going in separate directions. Plus, it's easier for you guys to be found if you're together. Next thing is to find some kind of shelter, natural shelter. Not somewhere where you're hidden, but somewhere maybe it's an overhang, maybe there's just a crevice somewhere or something that you can get some shelter, especially if it's raining, even under a tree. The problem is if there's a lot of lightning going on, you don't want to be at the base of a tree because you can get electrocuted, you can be hit by lightning. But finding that area where it's a natural area that you can kind of get under is great, especially with cold, wind, rain, all those kind of things that are possible. Now, another thing is to conserve energy. It's really important because you burn a lot of calories. And if you can conserve that energy, then especially in a long-term situation, your survival chances are a lot greater. One thing that's kind of funny to think about, but to breathe through your nose. Don't breathe through your mouth, and that comes with exerting a lot of energy. Breathe through your nose, because if you breathe through your mouth, you begin to lose moisture and you can become dehydrated quicker. One problem with being out in the woods is water sources. And if you don't have any kind of way to filter water, that can be a definite problem. A nice mountain stream looks really good and clear. but we don't know what's going on upstream. Unless you're really high up on a mountain and it's coming out of a natural spring. Don't eat wild edibles unless you are really versed in being able to find edibles. Guys, you know, it is really dangerous. Now, well before it starts to get dark, it's important to gather some things to make a bed, whether it's leaves and pine needles, brush, and then also to have something to cover up with, which are the same materials. You know, this will conserve your body heat. It will help protect you. Laying on just regular ground can actually suck the body heat from you. Even in the summertime and the spring, it gets really cool in the evenings out in the woods, and hypothermia can set in. So being prepared to go ahead and have those things together and be able to just use them if you need to. The last thing you want to do is to be stumbling around in the dark and again get lost. And then when you are sleeping, one of the most effective ways to retain body heat is to get into the fetal position. And also, if you have other people in your group, gather together, get close together, sleep together. And this will help for you to conserve body heat. Now, if you have a way to start fire, that is great. And being able to put together a good fire for all the reasons that make fire just wonderful, whether it's for warmth, light, heat, you can boil water, you can cook food if you need to. But what's really important is to be able to signal. Now, if you need to signal, the international distress signal is in 3s. So if you can build 3 small fires, great. If you have a whistle, 3 blasts at a time. That is also a signal. It's an SOS signal. If you have a mirror, you can kind of angle the mirror toward the sun and get a reflection going, especially with aircraft maybe possibly flying over. Or if you do have your concealed carry, if you have a firearm with you, firing 3 shots and then waiting a period of time, firing 3 shots. Again, that is the international distress signal. Unfortunately, if you don't want to shoot all your rounds if you're lost out in the woods, but making noise is important. Making noise also will keep predators at bay, which could be a possibility according to where you are. So, you know, knocking 2 sticks together and, you know, is one of the best ways, or hitting against a tree. And guys, if you ever are lost in the woods, don't forget the STOP acronym. To sit, to think, observe, and then plan. And your chances of survival become a lot greater. Now guys, if you're serious about prepping and survival, check out Survival Dispatch Insider. It is a great resource for the prepper. Plus, I upload an exclusive video once a week on the Survival Dispatch Insider. I'll have the link down below in the description. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. And I'll tell you what, guys, none of this really matters if mosquitoes eat you alive. I'm just saying. No, don't do that. Don't play games. Well, that's okay. I used to do that too. Yeah, that's right. You got to be stud muffin, broad and expansive, and that could be a, you know, I mean, there's just so many places that are beautiful. I love to get. I don't want to talk about all that crap.